how getting into trouble doesn't suck because it actually creates lifetime memories. Hi guys, welcome back to our series called Paramotor Adventure Stories. Our plan is to cover every aspect of adventure paramotor flying to inspire and encourage and trigger paramotor pilots to do some adventures and to kind of fly out of the box. Today's topic is really exciting. Today I would like to talk about that the best adventure is actually happening on the ground. And yes, when I recall the adventure flights that I did, I have all these beautiful photos on the wall in the office, mostly in flight. But if I recall the memories that on these adventures, I mostly recall the people I met on the ground and the situations I encountered. So today again we have Francois with us, a very experienced adventure pilot, and I'm sure you have plenty of stories to tell. But before I let you talk, I want to kind of quote Simon Walker, who is a board member of The Adventures, that's a company organizing the Icarus Trophy race. And he said one very interesting sentence that the main point of all the adventures, all the races that The Adventurist is organizing is to use the least suitable means of transportation for that adventure, being it the rickshaw or the monkey bike or horses or riding motorcycle on frozen lake, because using old, crappy, unsuitable means of transportation will get you in trouble. That will force you to seek for help of the local people, and suddenly instead of having beautiful Instagram shots of the landscapes and the main tourist attractions, you have lifetime memories of being in touch with the locals and with the people. So today's topic is how getting into trouble doesn't suck because it actually creates lifetime memories. So Jean-Francois, on the last video you mentioned an event with a broken throttle cable. Just very briefly, and we forgot to come back to that. Mm-hmm. And that was an interesting story. So please, tell me about it.
Yeah, because most of the time when you fly paramotor on the ground, you meet people because they're interested about where you are coming from, what are you doing here, and rarely about issues, because issues rarely happens, but when it happens, it's nice to have somebody that comes to your rescue. So yeah, that throttle cable, that was very interesting. I was flying in Arizona from one side of the mountain range and I flew on the other side, so very near Tucson pretty much. And I found a spot where I thought I was going to land, and I turned around twice and I'm not going to land there. And I found another spot nearby. I landed there, and within 5 minutes, a man came to see me. It was very nice. We talked. He was, retired, 71 years old, something like that. He took me to the gas station to get some gas, and even called me the Frenchman that fell out of the sky. So anyway, refuel, and I went for lunch, reload everything, say bye-bye. I go for my lunch, I go on my lunch, I do a straight line, I start to climb. I turn around, I do a 360, I keep climbing, and suddenly, boom, my throttle cable broke. So I had an emergency landing. He heard something strange happen. He came right to my rescue. I landed behind the fence, so he asked the authorization to the owner of this kind of property to go around. And he came. He didn't come with his car. The owner of the property, which was a commercial property, kind of took his truck, and both of them came to my help, to my rescue. We put the motor on the truck. We went to the warehouse and we parked the motor. We looked at the issue. Throttle cable was broken, and everybody was nice. The owner of the place told me, well, you can leave it overnight. I said, okay, well, I guess I'll leave it overnight. We need to go and get a new cable. Long story short, the man took me to a bicycle shop. We got a brake cable. And he told me, well, it's too late, meaning I told him it's too late to go to fly now. I didn't say, I'm not going to fly, I'm never going to make it to my next destination. I said, come to my house, you can sell my house, we're going to order pizza, and I'm going to introduce you to my wife, and you just stay at our house, you take a shower, you have a bed, you'll be relaxed, and tomorrow morning I'll take you back. And that was the story. It was beautiful. Very, very, very nice people.
Yeah.
Just naturally wanted to help because we were different. And also he was a pilot of small airplane. He was interested in the situation. And since that day, that been 2 years ago, we're still in contact.
Amazing. But you had an emergency being called, right?
Oh yeah, when I landed in Key West, I tried to figure out a good place to land before I get into Key West airspace. With this one is you just cannot get through it. I had seen that place on Google. I thought, well, that's where I'm going to land. That was the only place. The wind was perfect, conditions were perfect. So I just go and approach power line. So I had to be very low, but high enough. So I had to kind of glide down very fast because the LZ was not very wide. And yeah, I just landed there. Everything went fine. I started to pack up. My nephew and Mark was further away, and the job to army already had contacted them, telling me that's where I am. And they saw me on the tracking device, and they came to me. By the time they arrived, the cops arrived too.
Okay.
And that's a fence area. Luckily, they had a little opening in the fence for me to go through. But they came to me and said, "Oh, were you the pilot?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh yeah, we got a call, 911, somebody called and they said they saw a skydiver crashing."
Okay.
When I was a paramotor pilot landing. Talked to the cops and they were happy, they were asking questions.
Yeah.
They were wondering who I was and what I was doing, and then when I tell them, well, I just flew from San Diego. Oh, that's suddenly it's like, what? Is that true? And I had the map on the trailer, so I showed them the map. That's what I did, that's where I'm going. And people just think it's unbelievable.
Cops and cows?
So yeah, in Louisiana, near the place, I don't even remember what it was, but anyway. I know my nephew Nance was pretty far back, and myself, I went pretty straight. You had to load the tour, so I was a lot faster than he was. And this one is swamp area, is a gator country. So that's one of the places where I did cut off a little bit over the swamp, but I was staying high enough. If I had any issue, I could glide. Because my job was mainly just go as straight as I could to save on gas and be able to go a little bit faster. Anyway, I got to that little village, which is one road, swamp on one side, swamp on the other. So along that road, that's where they have farmland. So you have farmlands, a few houses, farmland, and it's pretty straight road. It must be, I don't know, 5 miles, 6 miles long, whatever it is, which is the main road that is crossing this one because it is the only road. And it's very interesting because you're not very sure where you're going to land. You have to pick a place. From above, I looked at the houses. If I see a big piece of land that looks too perfect, too manicure, I'm like, maybe not, because it's very much of a private house. I don't want to land there. I don't want to have any issue. So anyway, I kept going, and I was getting closer to the end of town, and I had to land around there. And I saw a spot with some cows, another one with cows, another one with no cows. And I thought, well, that's the one I picked. So I just reset and I land. And as I land, the man come and park, and he come to me. It was, I don't remember, I think he was dressed as a sheriff already because he was just finished his job, but he was driving his own truck. And he told me, where are you coming from? You landed in my brother-in-law's land.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was. He said, oh, my land is right there, but we're just starting to talk, and he really appreciated. He said, it seems like you were in trouble. And I said, no, I'm kind of running out of gas. It was time for me to land anyway. It was not going to be too far from getting dark, and my family is coming and driving. He was very happy, telling me, oh yeah, well, I'm going to take you toward my house, which is like 200 yards away from there. So we put the motor on his truck, and we went on the paved road and parked in front of his house. I said, you know what, tonight, because we talked and it was nice, I said, tonight just stay here. Now that you can launch from here tomorrow morning. I said, just park right there and you can spend the night there on my yard. So we talked for a while, and next morning I got up whenever it was time to go, and I told him, well, what about the cows that are on your field now? Because they travel from a field, the gate was open. I said, don't worry about them, you can fly, they will be fine. They're just going to run away, don't worry about them. But to my surprise, that specific morning, there were 4 cops that came to see me launch. It was him, And he was the older man, but he was just working for the office. He was part of the sheriff, but his boss was maybe 3 times as young as he was. So they just came, and that's a funny picture because I have a picture where you see one of the guy going like that, like he was going for his gun, but he's going for his phone to film my lunch. So anyway, and after, effectively, when I went to the field, the cows were there, and they came. I brought the motor to the middle of the field, and they went to the motor and they flipped the motor over. They were kind of wanting to know what was happening. It was just great. It was very, very nice. It's just a good feeling to see that people that could be scared from them sometime on the good side.
Have you ever had some bad encounter with people on the ground? I mean, during these trips?
No, never. Everybody was always
or something that you were expecting. Oh, this is going to be trouble, and it turned out to be good.
No,
I had one. It was in our Slovakia trip where I had a group of pilots from Israel flying with us, and we landed on a trip. So it was a supported trip. So the truck was following, but we were way faster with tailwind, and we landed on a spot that from the body looked nice, but as we landed, we had gypsy kids coming from all directions, like wow, everywhere. And I feel ashamed for having this prejudice, and I was like, oh no, it's going to be trouble. Now, they were so lovely, they were so nice, and I have lots of respect to these guys from Israel, because they were really open-minded, no prejudice to these gypsy kids. They started dancing with them, singing Jewish song, and the gypsies started the gypsy kids, they started, and they were dancing, and I was like, wow, like I felt so ashamed to kind of expecting trouble. They were just kids, curious, just as any other kids, and it was such a nice experience, and we had with the sunset and with dancing with these guys. It was like, wow, perfect moment. Yeah, well, I'm saying flying above was great, landscape is good, but what stays in your memory are the moments like this on the ground that actually make the difference, that make the adventure.
People want you to take pictures with you. It's fun. It's very nice. You land at a truck stop, and suddenly the trucker comes like, "Where did you come from?" Same thing. "Where are you going?" Same thing. And suddenly it's like, "Oh yeah. I want to follow you. What is your Facebook page? And I want to take a picture of you, or you and I together."
Yeah, I had similar. So when years ago, when I did this flight around Slovakia, I landed in Moldova. Moldova, it's a city. It's not a country. It's a city. And I landed on the field next to the gas station, and I saw a guy running towards me. It's like, oh no, it's probably the fight. He's going to be angry that I landed on his field. And actually it turned out to be another Paramotor pilot that I never met before, but he knew about my trip and said, "I knew you're gonna land here because this is the only gas station in the area that you can land safely close to the gas station. I knew you were coming. I was watching you." And greetings to Stefan. It was such a nice experience, and we were welcome everywhere. It was so good. The best stories, even for me, Icarus Trophy, and all the trips and the road trips we do. It's amazing to have those pictures, but for me personally, the best stories are always on the ground. And a friend of mine, Peter Chabaud, he said it very, very nicely when we went to visit Israel, to fly there, awesome place, and he just said, "I came here to first meet people, secondly see places." And truly, all these adventures to me are about people first, and the people that you encounter. So getting into trouble, having an emergency landing, having any problems is just another way how to get in touch with the local people. Yeah, so being unsupported actually opens the doors for the true adventure, because for the unexpected. Why do you think people or pilots, hypothetically, theoretically, are hesitating to do these adventures?
Just going through that stage of trusting themselves. Because when I did it, a lot of people told me, yeah, it's amazing what you're doing, I would love to do the same thing. But they have to step forward and just make it happen. I think they just maybe don't trust their abilities, some of them. A little bit worry about the unknown, which for me the unknown is the fun part.
Yeah,
I just love it. It's like, where am I going to land? I don't know. We'll see whenever I get to it. Just keep checking on my gas, that's it.
So guys, please stay with us. Hit the subscribe button. We will continue talking with Jean-Francois about his experience flying supported, unsupported, hundreds miles. He has plenty interesting stories to tell, so please hit the subscribe button. And thank you for sharing this video. See you soon. Thank you.